Hello and welcome to computer class. My name is Dave and today we're talking about how to edit video in Adobe Rush. Now I think Adobe Rush is a very easy introductory editing software and that's why I'm teaching it today. So what you're going to need to actually start editing is video clips. And so I want you to navigate over to this website, pexels.com. I'll link it down in the description and download a stock video of sorts. Maybe you want to get an array of them that go together. And then on your desktop, what you do is you want to right click and do a new folder. And I've just created one called Rush Lesson, but you can call it whatever you want, call it the name of your video. And then inside of that folder, what you're going to want to do is put those clips inside of a folder named Clips. As you can see here, I've done one on farm animals. I've got a whole bunch of clips I downloaded. And then I also have graphics. I have a picture. If you wanted to grab a picture also from the internet, maybe go to unsplash.com. I'll also link that in the description below. And then also a music soundtrack. And you can get those from YouTube or wherever you want to find those. Okay, maybe you'll get them from SoundCloud or something like that. All right, so you need these elements to play with when you are editing video. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch Rush and create a new project. And here I have some recent projects. That's usually what's here, some learning, helping, community. But the main thing we're going to do is create a new project. And so what I can do is I can navigate to my desktop where I've stuck all of those video clips and to my Rush lesson here into my clips. And I'm just going to select all of these clips and it's going to import them. I'm going to go back as well and select my graphic. And then my music, I want to make sure I do the MP3 there and hit create. Now what it's doing is it's preparing the files and creating sort of a little video for me. Now a tour of the interface real fast is that we have this bar at the top and you can flop between sharing, which is exporting the video, and editing, as well as going back to home. That's where we just were. And it kind of syncs all of your projects to the cloud. And what's really nice about it is I could pick up where I left off if I want to, if I sign in with my Adobe account on my phone. And so that's an awesome thing. And if I just notice it's syncing up here, all the clips I just added, that's really helpful. And then also at the top in this bar, there's a undo and redo feature, which you could do Control Z and Control Y as well. They work. And then you can give feedback to them. And then down this side, where I think you would add things, is what I would call, you have the plus button, which allows you to add more media clips, graphics, other audio, and maybe a voiceover. And then you have a bin here of all your project assets, which you've already added right now. So if you wanted to use them again, like duplicates or something like that, you could just drag them out. There's also a couple tools down here on the bottom. And if you click a clip, for instance, you can choose to cut it with the scissors, or you can press S on your keyboard. If you want to duplicate a clip, you can press the plus button there. Delete a clip, the trash can. This expands the audio section and also does a little bit of expanding if you needed more than one layer here. Okay, so that's what that's for. I'm sorry, this is what that does, the expanding below that. This just expands the audio, makes it a little bit bigger. Okay, then over here on this side, you've got your graphics panel, you've got your transitions panel, you've got your color and editing panel there. You've got your speed panel, we've got an audio panel, and then we've got a crop slash orientation panel. Okay, so let's actually try to edit something with this program. It's pretty simple. Obviously, I just dumped all the clips in here. As you can tell, let me make sure I have my audio on the correct thing. But I have a nice little clip of pigs. How cute are they? And I've got this nice little soundtrack that plays in the background. Okay, now if I wanted to shorten this because I only want 2 seconds, I just click and drag to shorten. If I want to cut it, I use the snip tool, as we already discussed. Okay, so I'm going to pull that close, and then I've got this nice little picture of a man reaching out to cows. I'm not sure why. I'm going to pull that in. Notice it's also showing me the time that I'm cutting off. We'll play this again, and we have chickens. Just kind of pecking. That's enough right there. Usually you don't want your clips to be longer than like 2 or 3 seconds. So these cows aren't doing much over here. It's a pretty boring scene. I'm going to crop that down. Cows eating. Again, pull that down. And there we go. That's pretty much all I'm going to edit, right? And I could move these around if I wanted to. You just pick one up and slide it over, and it allows me to, or if I wasn't interested, I'm like, oh man, the guy, that really doesn't apply. I think I'll get rid of that, hit the trash can, and there, that clip is out of there. Now, if you don't want something to happen to a specific layer here, what you can do is you can lock it and then you can't play with it or delete anything. Or you can mute the track, for instance, if you're trying to hear like some sort of sound from a video or something like that. And as well, I can't actually access this feature right now because I don't have a video with sound. But if your video has sound, you can also delink the audio from the video. So anyway, that's something to be done. You can also hide a track from being seen, and of course, do the same thing with video, mute it, and everything else. Okay. There's also orientation here. So we've got full screen mode, and we've got a choice of what size for a device. So if I wanted to put this on social media, maybe I do a 1:1 ratio. But I'm gonna leave it for 16 by 9 for right now. Okay. If I go over here, I want to drop some graphics. I can click the Add Graphics, and it pops out this side panel. And I like this cool transition, actually. This isn't in the transitions panel, but it's a graphic. I'm going to just drag it out onto my thing. So now, as soon as the video starts, that's what happens. That's a nice, cool little transition. And I can add a title to the video if I wanted to. Maybe I need to make this a little bit longer. There we go. And then pull my transition in. See how that looks. Oh, that was fast. Make this a little bit longer. And again, you can resize things as needed. Here we'll put farm animals. All right, so this is a video about farm animals. Here we go. Whoa. So you can use Control Z if you have to. Perfect. And nice little transition there. All right, so now that's graphics. If I wanted to add some graphics, if I do the lightning bolt here, I can add transitions, and of course the most traditional one to do between scenes is the the dissolve here. And also, if I click this last clip, I ought to be able to click on the pan and zoom feature, which is really nice. And what that does is I think it creates sort of a Ken Burns effect, sort of a pulling away. See that? It actually like pulls away as it finishes. Okay, so that's pretty neato bandito. Then we've got colorizing things, like let's say if I wanted to make the cows, because they're pretty dingy here, make them monotone, so it's gray. That looks pretty cool. I could do that. If I wanted to change the time here, and here's what's nice, you can even do something, so this is the speed of the clip, right? I can change the speed of the clip, or I can click on this thing called ramping, and it will only do a certain section of the clip really quick. It will kind of ramp up and speed into it. So let's see. I can adjust. If you notice here, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Notice it ramps up the speed and then dies out of the speed. So this will speed up really fast because this clip is so long. Let me make the speed 215% so you can see that. And then let's hit play. Oops. speeds up the cows a little bit. It's not really evident of seeing that there. We should try it on this one. Little ramping here. Let's move it to 200%, 400%. Well, that's way too much. Okay. Makes the hens go a little bit faster, as you can see there. All right, moving over to the audio panel. If you click on the audio, you have the options to turn down some of the video. Maybe it's too high for you. You can mute the track if you wanted to. You can change the video type. Notice it's selected music by default. It kind of auto selects that. And you can auto duck. And what that means is if someone comes on, if you're doing like a documentary style video and they start talking, it'll actually duck down a few decibels the music in the background, which is kind of a cool feature if you wanted to use that. I don't really need to do that because I don't have anyone talking. Okay. Then we've got positional ones. So let's just say if I wanted to take the cow here, it should be noted you can resize this clip if you wanted to, or if you wanted to make it smaller and put multiple ones in there. Or you can do rotation, the vertical position of things. You can fit it to screen if you wanted to. You can crop the clip. You can crop from the top, from the bottom. Again, all of what you want to do there. Let me go back to the rotation here and set it to 0. You can actually type 0 and it will automatically fix. So there I have kind of a cinematic looking clip. As you can see, there's black on the top and the bottom. That's how people do that. They just crop in. Pretty cool feature. All right, and then obviously I can slide over on the timeline here, and I need to, let me just drag it back. This kind of makes things smaller. Let's actually drag this audio all the way back and make it end with our video clips. Okay, and then at the end here, we can put in a transition. All right, and usually you would want to dip to black here. So let's dip to black on the end. Notice it'll just fade to black like that. And then we can apply the same thing to our audio. Okay. Now something to be noted here with these transitions is if you want them to be longer, you can actually grab the transition and adjust it, or shorter, either way. Let's line that one up. So there, it ends kind of abruptly. I'm not trying to create a professional movie here, but you can see how you might be able to edit something in Adobe Rush using this software. So let's do the last step, which is exporting. Click on the share button. You'll find an example here to name your sequence, and I'm going to call it farm. And I'm going to choose my folder, which is going to be my desktop. And you have some advanced settings here, like if you don't want it to be 4K, which I don't, I want it to be 1080. That's a little bit too much. You can give the quality to high. I'm gonna set it to medium. And then it's exporting to where I've chosen. Now, if you wanted to export it to YouTube, you could. I'm just doing it locally, Instagram, Facebook, any of those if you want to. And then you press export. And what it begins to do is, and your computer may not be quite this fast, I have a pretty beefy PC, but what it does is it exports it real quickly and sticks it where you have asked. And you press done. All right, and then I'm going to go back to home and just let that project sync. Minimize this. And that's it. Everything has been exported and ready to go. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you like the channel, consider subscribing to see more amazing content. And as always, I will see you in the next video.